Hi. I did get a haircut. It's business on the sides and pleasure on top. Hey guys, it's Johnny Tenor here. Hello. I haven't filmed for a while. Sorry about that. I've been a bit distracted by my brother's wedding. Duh. Today's letter is R for randomosity. Now I know what you're thinking. What? That's not T? I never said I was going to do these in the exact order of T, E, N, O, R. I just said that these were the 5 segments, okay? So put those pants back on. Today's subject is randomosity, which means I get to do whatever comes to mind. And what am I going to talk about today? Well, I had my brother's wedding last Saturday, and obviously weddings are a place that you find that a lot of people get really emotional and teary at. But I've noticed that in my life, I don't really get very emotional. Like, you know, I feel emotion about these things. So I feel happy about my brother getting married, or I feel sad if something bad happens or whatever. But sometimes I just don't like show it in an outward expression. So I decided to talk today about manly tears. Essentially what I'm going to be doing is expressing my emotions towards you, which, you know, if you don't want to hear a white skinny male talking about that stuff, then you can click away. But if you're still here, then I feel sorry for you. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. If you were in my year at school, you would know that I was the one child that you call the crybaby. You just had to apply some little amount of force to, whether it be physical, emotional, or just speaking to me, and I would just fall apart crying. Why'd you do that? No. Yes.
I win again?
Why do you always win?
Heads or tails?
What? Heads or tails? I don't know! Which one? Which one? I don't handle this pressure! This dish is not working! It's not floppy enough! I was a bit of a crybaby when I was a child. But then for some reason, at the beginning of my teenage years, it just stopped. The floodgates were closed because there was no water in the dam in the first place. Didn't get that outwardly expressed emotional. But that's not to say that I didn't get emotional. During this period of my teenage to adult life, there were 2 instances I can think of where I started bawling out into tears. Both of them involving television shows. I am just a sensitive soul in all the wrong places. Number 1, I am an avid fan of Survivor, the TV show Survivor. From season 1 to now, I am a fan of Survivor. And it was so... I love that show. But the one that I'm referring to was the Survivor All-Star episode. The first one ever that had various people that I can't remember at the moment. They were really good All-Stars, obviously. It's the one that had Jenna, for those of you who watched it, and she had a mother, I think, who had cancer. And she was freaking out about the fact that, you know, she shouldn't be on the show. And so long story short, she decided to pull herself out of the game. The emotional farewell she was giving to everyone and talking about why she was pulling herself out, it started me going, oh, this is really sad actually. But I would have been fine. Until she got taken away on the boat, and then it fades out, and the text appears on the screen saying that her mother died 9 days after she got back. According to my family, I started weeping, like genuinely weeping uncontrollably. The second time I've ever gotten into crying because of sadness. Me and 3 of my siblings have never watched this show. Like, unlike Survivor that we watched avidly as fans, this show we never watched, and that show is McLeod's Daughters. We've never watched an episode before this episode, and we've never watched an episode since this episode. But this one episode, we all sat down for some reason and watched it. I don't remember which character died, and it was a funeral, coming to grips with grief and loss. First my eldest sister started crying, then my second eldest, at the point where like the fiance was trying to hunt after the horse that killed his fiance. That's when my brother started crying, and I was actually holding out more than the other 3 were. But then they had the sister having a speech at the funeral, and they're saying goodbye. Keep all these emotions inside me. But according to accounts of the day, I got up, started to head out the room, then dramatically turned to it. It's just so sad! And then I ran down to my room and started crying, weeping again. I'm a sad individual who cries over TV shows, but only twice. I decided to test myself if I was a human being who was capable of being emotional about things that actually matter. So I decided to go onto YouTube, typed in things that will make you cry, and started just watching away. I wanted to make a list of things that would make me cry for the sake of this video, but turns out there's only one thing that made me cry, and that was American soldiers coming home to their families and friends, particularly father-daughter relationships, and seeing each other for the first time. Made me actually start crying in happiness, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. But there were manly tears, liquid pride. So long story short, I don't really cry that much. Hello dog, how's it going? You good? You gonna interrupt my video any longer? No? Awesome. I made this video because I wanted to express to you guys, just because a guy or a girl, doesn't matter, is not very good at showing their emotions outwardly, doesn't mean that internally they're not falling apart or feeling really sad and emotional. This is a weird episode for me to be making. If you want to see more of the funny stuff, like my Bohemian Rhapsody video or some of my older videos that I'll put in links right here, then subscribe, like, favorite, enjoy. Tell me what you want to see. Anyway, all that jazz. This has been Johnny Tenor.